Carolina Andreea Pungă is 15 years old, and she just came 1/100th of a second away from becoming a European champion. She was already the fastest teenager on the continent this year. Then she stepped onto the track in Italy and did something almost nobody saw coming. Stick around, because the ending of this race is one you won't forget. She's from Romania, and until a few months ago, almost nobody outside her own country knew who she was. That changed fast, and once you hear the full story, you'll understand why people are already comparing her to the biggest names in Romanian track history. Let's go back to the start. Carolina didn't just wake up one day and become fast. She grew up around running. Her mother, Mirela, was once a national and Balkan champion in sprinting and hurdles. Carolina began athletics at just 3 years old. By the time she was 4 or 5, she was already training seriously. Most kids that age are still learning to tie their shoes. She was learning how to explode off a starting line. For years, her main event wasn't even sprinting. It was the long jump. She won national titles in jumping events before she was even a teenager, competing against girls much older than her and still winning. But somewhere along the way, her speed became impossible to ignore. Coaches noticed that her jump approach was faster than almost anyone else's. That speed needed a new home. So her focus shifted toward the sprints. Carolina has said she never felt forced into any of this. She started because she loved it, not because her parents pushed her. That mindset seems to matter. People close to her describe a level of discipline that's rare for someone her age. She goes to bed before 11 at night and wakes up around 6 in the morning for school, sticking to a routine that sounds more like a professional athlete than a teenager. Once Carolina made the shift towards sprinting, things escalated quickly. At the start of July, Carolina ran the 100 meters in 11.36 seconds. Let that number sink in for a second. That time didn't just make her the fastest under-18 sprinter in Europe this year. It set a new national record for her age group in Romania. And here's the part that should really shock you. That time was only 6/100ths of a second slower than the fastest 100 meters ever run by a Romanian woman at any age. That record has stood since 1999. A 15-year-old was knocking on the door of a record that had survived for over 2 decades. European athletics took notice before the championships even began. They posted a warning to fans, telling everyone to remember her name because she was already making waves at just 15 years old. Then came the European Under-18 Championships in Rieti, Italy, held in the middle of July. Romania sent a team of 20 athletes to compete across every event. Most of the attention was on one 15-year-old sprinter. This is where the story gets intense. Carolina lined up first in the 100 meters. She won her opening heat and looked sharp, running 11.51 seconds and posting the 4th fastest time of anyone in the qualifying round. In the semifinal, she ran a little slower and barely squeezed into the final, qualifying with the last spot available. In the final itself, she finished 5th, running 11.61 seconds. It wasn't the result Carolina wanted, but there was no time to dwell on it. She'd only set that old record back in June at Romania's National Under-18 Championships. She qualified for the final with the 6th fastest time. Not the favorite, not even close to the top seed. Just one of 8 girls with a shot. Then came the final. Carolina had already broken her personal best once that day. Somehow, she was about to break it again. As the race unfolded, a British runner named Shaya Kenyan was out in front, looking like the clear winner. The gold medal seemed decided, but just before the finish line, Kenyan lost her balance and fell to the track. In that same instant, Carolina came flying through, driving hard toward the line with everything she had left. She crossed in 23.58 seconds. Another personal best, her second one of the day in the same event, just minutes apart from the first. It was enough for second place, and it turned her into a European silver medalist. Only one runner beat her. Mariona Armero of Spain crossed the line in 23.57 seconds. The gap between gold and silver was 1/100th of a second. Blink, and you'd miss a gap that small. Armero's time also set a new Spanish national record for her age group. Bronze went to Aneta Ondrkova of the Czech Republic, who finished in 23.87. Think about how close that finish really was. A 15-year-old came within a blink of becoming a European champion. beaten by less time than it takes to snap your fingers. And she did it after already running 2 personal bests in the same day, in the same event, against girls who had trained years longer than she had. This result meant something bigger than just one medal. According to reports from Eurosport, this was the first time Romania had ever won a medal in either sprint event at the European U18 Championships. Not in the 100 meters, not in the 200 meters, ever. Until Carolina changed that in Rieti. Romania has a long history of great distance runners. Sprinting had never been the country's strength on the European or world stage. Carolina is changing that story, one race at a time. And she's doing it before she's even finished growing up. Her coach, by the way, is her own mother. That relationship adds another layer to this whole journey. It's not just about a talented teenager. It's about a family that has lived and breathed track and field for generations, now watching the next chapter unfold together. So what happens next for Andreea Pungă? She's only 15. She won't turn 16 until November. That means she still has years left in this age category, and even more years before she reaches her physical peak as a sprinter. Most elite sprinters don't hit their fastest times until their mid-20s. Back when she was just 13 years old, Carolina was already talking about the Olympics. She said her dream was to become an Olympic champion, specifically at the Los Angeles Games in 2028. She said if she couldn't win, she'd at least try to walk away with a medal. At that competition, she would only be 17 years old. Most sprinters at that age are nowhere near ready for the Olympic stage. Sprinting usually rewards experience, strength, and years of training that teenagers simply haven't had time to build. But then again, most sprinters aren't running national records at 15 either. Here's what makes this story worth paying attention to. Carolina isn't just fast for her age. Her 100-meter time this season was within striking distance of Romania's all-time senior record, a mark that has stood for more than 25 years. If she keeps improving at this pace, year after year, that record might not survive much longer. And in the 200 meters, she now owns a personal best that puts her among the best young sprinters anywhere in Europe. 1/100th of a second kept her off the top of the podium in Rieti. That's the kind of gap that comes down to a single stride, a single lean at the finish line. But records like that have a way of getting broken eventually, especially by someone still years away from reaching her physical prime as an athlete. Andreea Pungă walked away from Rieti with a silver medal, 2 personal bests set in the very same day, and a piece of Romanian sprinting history that had never existed before her. She's 15 years old. She trains with her own mother, and she's already chasing down records set by athletes twice her age. If this is what 15 looks like, it's worth wondering what 20 will bring.